Why not?
What I look for in a Mega are a couple things. First, I think a Mega should improve on the Pokemon it evolves from in some way. Even if a Mega is good in battle, but the original Pokemon could still be considered better, I don't feel like that's doing a good job as a Mega Evolution.
But what about cases where the original Pokemon and the Mega Evolution have different roles in battle? Granted, that would make the Mega Evolution more of a side grade than an upgrade, but it wouldn't make it an instant downgrade either.
Second, I'm looking for whether or not that Mega Pokemon can pull its weight in battle when compared to other Megas. Since you can only have one Mega per team, and there's some steep competition for that coveted Mega slot, how they stack up to other Megas is very important. In making this list, I'm not saying any of these Pokemon are actually bad. On the contrary, they all have their uses and strengths. And if you want to find a way to make them work for your team, more power to you. Rather than thinking of these as bad Megas, really they're just the least good Megas, in my opinion anyway. Well, enough of the disclaimers. On to the countdown.
Number 10. Mega Haircross. Haircross has always been a good Pokemon, and one of my favorites. With its hidden ability Moxie, its already crazy 125 base attack gets a boost every time it KOs a Pokemon. And if you give it a Choice Band to hold, that attack gets another 50% boost. Its speed is decent, as are its defenses, and with a stabbed Mega Horn in close combat, it can take down even the toughest of threats. Enter Mega Haircross. It gets boosted defenses, but loses quite a bit of speed. And though it gets boosted attack, alone that attack isn't higher than regular Haircross holding a Choice Band, which Mega Haircross can't do because it has to hold a Mega Stone.
But the thing with Choice Band is that it locks you into a single move, and to use another, you're forced to switch out, nullifying any Moxie boost you may have gotten up to then. Mega Haircross may not be as strong, but it doesn't have that liability. Also, any Moxie boost you may have gotten as a Haircross can be passed down to its Mega Evolution. Sure, you can't gain any more once you Mega Evolve, but by that time, you shouldn't need any more.
Skill Link takes over and replaces the ever-menacing Moxie, and though Skill Link can be fun and annoying on Pokemon like Cinccino, Mega Haircross doesn't get a lot of moves to pick from to make use of it.
Mega Haircross gets 5 moves to abuse Skill Link with. Cinccino, your example, gets 4. Even taking up moves neither would use normally, that's still 3 apiece. Miss, this is not how you math. Please see me after class.
Since Haircross can certainly still function, and function well, as a Mega, it comes in pretty low on this list. But in my opinion, regular Haircross is more fun to use and hits way harder.
If you're willing to give up access to 75% of your moveset. You know, this segment felt like you're trying to treat Mega Haircross as a sweeper like regular Haircross, when it works more as a tanky wall breaker. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about side grades. Even if Mega Haircross isn't better, it's not worse either. You don't have to like Mega Haircross more, just give it credit where credit is due. Also, Mega Haircross's Rock Blast hits harder than Choice Band's Haircross's Stone Edge in most competitive situations. Just saying.
Number 9. Mega Houndoom. I actually forgot Mega Houndoom existed for a while, which is sad, but I've never seen a single person use it. Mega Houndoom works best in the sun, which means Ninetales is an absolute necessity to support it.
This statement is immediately followed by a picture of Mega Houndoom's stats, including its crazy 140 special attack stat. Some support is helpful, sure, but necessary? I don't think so.
And since it's an all-out special attacker, you really need something in there to deal with special walls, which kind of limits your team options.
Use Taunt. That's it. Most walls rely on status moves, which they can't use under the effects of Taunt. As they struggle to do something against Mega Houndoom or switch out entirely, set up with Nasty Plot or start sweeping with Flamethrower or Dark Pulse. Or switch to a physical attacker, something most teams should have anyways.
Number 8. Mega Absol. As much as I love the way this thing looks, I have to admit it's not the most useful Mega out there. It's a glass cannon with not quite enough firepower. Its attack, special attack, and speed make it a nice mixed attacker, but compared to other Megas, it just doesn't pack the punch it needs to make up for its frailty.
Mewtwo is a legendary Pokemon who, before Mega Evolving, has a base stat total of over 100 more than Mega Absol, and Mega Mewtwo Y, alongside Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Rayquaza, has the highest base stat total in the game. Don't you think your comparison's a bit ludicrous? If not actually ludicrous?
Take that, rewind it back. Ludicrous got the flow to make your booty go.
Still though, it has some good tools in its arsenal, like Magic Bounce and Sucker Punch, and still a great improvement over regular Absol, so I'm putting it pretty low on this list.
Okay, remember that part of why Mega Absol is only number 8 is because it's better than regular Absol. This will come up later in the video.
Number 7. Mega Pidgeot.
It's later. I know Tamashii said it was only part of why it was number 8, but it still feels kind of weird to come off of saying that Mega Absol isn't higher because it's better than regular Absol, only to be followed by not one, but 2 segments where she never argued if the original Pokemon was better than the Mega Evolution. Speaking of that second segment,
Number 6. Mega Glalie. For the most part, Glalie's job has always been to boom things. It sets up entry hazards and then poofs with explosion. With a Mega, it now has the refrigerate ability to give its booms from Ice-type stab, and it gets better attacking stats all around, so it can be used more offensively. But at the end of the day, it's still gonna go boom. Do you really want a disposable Mega? Do you really want to waste your Mega slot on this thing when there are stronger, more reliable sweepers out there? When there are better field hazard setters?
1, you're right. When Mega Mewtwo Y is an option, I probably wouldn't pick Mega Glalie. Then again, Uber tier Mega Legendary against most anything else. I wonder what the average player will use. 2, Glalie is an offensive hazard setter, not a defensive one like your examples, assuming you're even using Glalie as a hazard setter thanks to its improved offensive capabilities. 3, Refrigerate Explosion is one of the, if not the most powerful move in the game. Most of the time, you'll either get a KO or severely damage the opponent while you get switching momentum. Not the best use of a Mega Evolution, I'll agree, but it's not as detrimental as you're making it out to be.
Number 5. Mega Aerodactyl. At first glance, Mega Aerodactyl looks like a huge improvement. At 150 base speed, not much is going to get past it, and Tough Claws gives it a 33% damage boost to any moves that make contact. But if you look at it a bit more closely, something is a bit off here.
You're damn right, Kabutops doesn't have a Mega Evolution. What's up with that?
Bonus from Tough Claws, which means regular non-Mega Evolved Aerodactyl holding a Life Orb actually does more damage. When Mega Aerodactyl does use a move that takes advantage of Tough Claws, it's still just barely more damage than Life Orbed regular Aerodactyl.
You're judging Mega Aerodactyl on what's really just 2 moves, while forgetting all the other benefits of Mega Evolving when compared to using a Life Orb. You're bulkier, you're faster, you won't lose 10% of your health with each attack, your Aerial Ace and Aqua Tail actually become stronger than either Aerodactyl's Earthquake, and you're not that much weaker with Stone Edge. You can still kinda call it a side grade since you're giving up on some of Earthquake and Stone Edge's potential strength, but if you're simply using regular Aerodactyl for raw power, you're doing it wrong.
Number 4. Mega Abomasnow. Poor ice types. Not only are they weak to some of the most common attacking types, they don't even get good weather. Hail is just disappointing. Very few Pokemon benefit from it, since it only activates the Forecast, Ice Body, and Snow Cloak abilities, and the only move it really works well with is Blizzard, which simply bypasses its accuracy check. It causes chip damage, which only ice types are immune to, making it difficult to build a team around. Since ice types have so many other weaknesses, you can't really go mono ice and get away with it.
Actually, yes you can. Even with a mono ice team, there are plenty of Pokemon who get secondary typings that take less damage from any of Ice's regular weaknesses. What's more, you're specifically tailoring your team to avoid Hail's chip damage while your opponent most likely isn't. I'll agree that it's not the easiest thing in the world to build a team around Hail, but that doesn't make it ineffective, thus ignoring the fact that any Pokemon with the Magic Guard or Overcoat abilities also ignore Hail's chip damage. So for a Hail team, you don't even need to go mono ice.
Abomasnow and its Mega remain the only Pokemon that cause Hail to start falling upon a switch-in. Which means they are built specifically for this weather. So not only does Mega Abomasnow take up your slot for a Mega, but building a team to support it gives you really limited options.
Apart from how supporting Abomasnow is not as limited as you're making it out to be, here's a possible idea. Have Abomasnow abuse the Hail and not your entire team. Hail's no longer permanent, so all you need to do is stall the 5 turns out and deal as much damage as you can in that time. Also, it's later again! I never caught you mentioning if Mega Abomasnow was better or worse than regular Abomasnow. Heck, you barely mentioned Mega Abomasnow to begin with! Was this segment really just an excuse to rant on Hail? Because, to put it nicely, it needed work.
Number 3. Mega Sableye. This is another Mega that's arguably more useful in its original form. Sableye's claim to fame has always been Prankster. And while it faces competition from Klefki and Mega Bandit now, it can have Priority Taunt and Will-O-Wisp without using up a Mega slot, giving it a unique role to play in battle. With its Mega though, it loses Prankster for Magic Bounce and better defensive stats. And while that's great, because it was kind of frail before and it got an added weakness with the addition of Fairy, all it can do as a Mega is be kind of mediocre. It can make for a decent wall now, I guess, but it loses the thing that made it really unique.
And it becomes unique in another area, as a wall with Magic Bounce. Also, mediocre? It has high defensive stats, one weakness, an uncommon one at that, Recover, Calm Mind, the potential to burn, and the ability to reflect any entry hazard, taunt, and status ailment. Even if regular Sableye is better, I'd hesitate to call Mega Sableye mediocre.
And it also now takes up the Mega slot its job was to save in the first place.
From what? Mega Bandit? You'd still be doing that anyways by Mega Evolving Sableye.
Mega Aggron clone. Both have extremely similar stats in every area, and they have the exact same defense, with Mega Steelix having just slightly higher special defense and HP, and with Mega Aggron having just slightly higher speed and attack, you'd think they'd more or less cancel each other out. But Mega Aggron renders Mega Steelix redundant with its filter ability. It reduces the damage done by super effective moves by a fourth, and meanwhile all Mega Steelix can do with its ability is set up sand. As a wall, that's not a helpful ability.
Are you confusing Mega Steelix's Sand Force with Sandstream? Steelix can set up sand, sure, but that's not what its ability does. It uses sand to boost its rock, ground, and steel type attacks. Kinda different from setting up sand. As for its role, use it more as a tank instead of a wall, since Sand Force will increase the power of Steelix's main moves, including its secondary ground type. Comparing Mega Steelix and Mega Aggron as walls, I can see the former being redundant. As tanks, I don't think so.
And the number one worst Mega is Mega Bandit. It seems like a lot of my favorite Pokemon got kinda bad luck in the Mega Lottery. Mega Bandit is kind of a paradox. It gets boosted attack by a lot, but it also gets Prankster. Which only benefits you if you use non-attacking moves. So in order to make use of one of Mega Bandit's features, you have to waste the other. Not to mention, Bandit doesn't learn too many uses that it can make use of with Prankster. Just about all it can do is get Priority Taunt, Will-O-Wisp, or Destiny Knot, which is nice and all, but as mentioned before, there are other better Prankster users that can do this job without taking up a Mega slot. And do you really want to Mega Evolve something just so it can kill itself to force a switch? Thankfully, its attack is high enough to make use of the few physical ghost moves out there, but it's just too slow to outrun common threats, and it's not bulky enough to switch in constantly or sponge hits. All in all, Mega Bandit just doesn't make sense, and it's not worth your time or your Mega slot.
Since you never mentioned regular Bandit being better than Mega Bandit, or at all, it's safe to assume you think it isn't. Even though Mega Absol is better than regular Absol, and it was number 8 for, at least in part, that reason, yet Mega Bandit may be better than regular Bandit, but it's never brought up, and it's number 1 on the list. Screw it! I'm going to bed.